And we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're trying. Today, we will be talking about motivation and mindset. I'm your host, Hi, together with my co-host, Shumie.
Also, trying to do my best here because I'm getting motivated to help. So that's a very important part of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So, we are both live on YouTube and Twitch. Maybe that's why they're like, you can do that. You can do that. But
Yeah.
so
Live
today,
on YouTube.
yes. So today we want to talk about motivation and mindset. The reason why I picked this topic is because, um, excuse me, because this is one of the things that I am very passionate about. I like to focus on a certain mindset, and I get a lot of motivation from it. I got a lot of role models that focus on that. Sorry that I'll talk a bit weird because I heard myself in an echo. It's kind of annoying. So yeah, Shumie, how do you look? How do you search for your motivation to do anything?
So that is a very difficult one because I've been when you're born, you will get a certain, you will be raised a certain way. So you will be motivated in a certain way. So, for example, your parents will say, "Oh, you need to you need to eat, you need to sleep," and you won't listen. So they will they'll try to break you with candy, maybe, or they will try to um, hurt you or something to motivate you. So that's a very interesting way to be introduced by when are you motivated. And now we are on age, we are more conscious of what we're doing, so we can pick how we get motivated.
Right.
Yeah. So it started off really simple, and now it's getting more complex because you have to make your own choices.
Yeah,
And
I
you can
agree.
also motivate yourself.
Yeah. So, what are you motivated on right now? Like, what motivates you today?
What motivates me today is, well, I already had some appointments today. For example, a massage session. So I gave someone a massage and she gave one back to me to experience how that was.
All right.
Um, so the motivation, the intent was already there. So I already had motivation to do it.
Mhm.
Plus, also a motivation is if you won't do it, it's like a disappointment, and you don't want that. So you're motivated to do it because you don't want the negative consequences of not doing it.
Right.
You don't want to disappoint. So
Interesting.
that's one of the things. And aside from that, also with the higher purpose or goal, what I have in my mind of starting my own business, it's also motivating me to do things to get more experience by doing this. So that's also a motivation for me.
Right. And why did you decide to start your own business?
To have more fulfillment. So fulfillment is also one of the motivators. So when I work, when I have to work for money, I'm motivated for money. But if I have enough money for the basic needs, I'm less motivated. So it's not fulfilling anymore for me. So if it's not spiritually fulfilling, it can be a little bit more difficult for me to get motivated.
Right.
I don't see the reason why to be motivated anymore.
I can see that because you quit your job to do what you're doing now. So there's like a certain mindset
Yeah.
where you're like, you know what, I'm going for this.
Yes.
It's not easy to just like I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5 job, which pays me well,
Uh-huh. I
and
mean, they are
do
motivating you with a lot of money, so it's really
yeah,
hard to quit it.
that's true. If money is your main goal, then you might decide differently.
Yeah, because it used to be a very important thing, because if you don't have your basic needs, you are very motivated by money.
Yeah.
For example, there's a story when there is a couple which are already very rich, and what they did was, I'm not sure where the story is from, but I will just tell it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Is there are a couple, they were already rich and everything, and so the guy, he was putting a lot of money together for a present to give to her, to his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
It took a lot of money, and she was like, "Oh, thank you a lot for this present, because I know it's been an effort and you had to work really hard for this." But she's very happy for the present, and the present was something like a car. It's like not. It's not really a basic need anymore. It's more of a luxury,
Mm-hmm.
or it was a special car ride from a very expensive car. So that was the present. So that's like, oh, that's interesting. In the same situation, if he would only have given the girlfriend like only the money, she would be like, "Thank you, but did you put any thought into this, or did you just give me money because that's
It feels
easy?"
effortless.
Yeah, it feels really effortless. So she would be probably more happy with the car ride, which she really wanted, which he had to put a lot of effort and thought to it, than just the money. In a
Yeah.
different situation, where there's a very poor couple, and the guy, um, he like basically put all the money together, which they earned, and he also bought her a very expensive car ride. The girl is, she said, and her response will be, "It's very sweet of you to do this, but we don't have money to pay for the rent and for food anymore. So even though it's very sweet, this is not really what I wanted. I rather wanted the money for the rent." So, and in that kind of way, it's like, it's really hard to see when it's the right thing to do. Because for the one, it's like really for the money, and for the other, it's really about the thought of it, if the basic needs are already met.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on what your surroundings are. What are you dealing with, right? I think while you're in the moment and in the situation, you would know what to do. I think you
Yeah.
will know if she's well off or if she really needs money.
So
And
for the
I
poor
feel like,
situation, if he provided her with money to pay the rent, she would be very happy.
yeah,
Because,
but
yeah,
even then, I would maybe just pay the rent myself instead of and instead of showing it her, right? Like, here's the money to pay the rent. I would just like go out and pay for her, and then tell her as a gift, maybe instead of like he's cold hard cash. It still feels weird to give someone cash.
it's like if they are like super poor and they like need to get money for food, and he would give her the money for food, then it'd be like, oh wow, that'd be more valuable. Well, then money is more valuable. But if money is not an issue and he still gives it, it's like, it's not the
Yeah,
way.
that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, how do you get motivated?
How I got motivated? Different ways, really. The reason why I started my business was because it was a long lasting dream of mine. And because it was a dream of mine, I wanted to achieve it no matter how or what. So I did a lot of research and a lot of studies, and that's where I kind of found my, which I call online mentors. So people I look up to, I pick like certain aspects of how they act and how they uh, sell themselves as a person, and
Mhm.
I take little things from them and basically piece them all together and use it as my own. For example, um, one of my heroes is Kobe Bryant, the basketball player. Rest in peace. He his motivation was so strong, like his mentality when he wants to achieve something is so strong. Um, People know him to be a workaholic. For example, he says, instead of waking up, around 8, go to the gym, eat, rest, go to the gym, he wakes up at 4 and does like an extra session and an extra, he goes extra. And the reason why is because he says, like, it doesn't matter if they train harder in the off season when we're not playing, because I'm already 3-4 years ahead of them in development and in training and whatever, because I take the time to start earlier. Another thing as well, there was another player, well, it was another team coming to the arena, and he was working out in the arena, and the other guy walks in and it's like, oh, okay, Kobe's working, whatever. So he's doing a workout, and when he comes back from the workout, he sees Kobe still working, but not just a little bit, like super hard. And I think they also lost the game against Kobe that night. And then the end of the game, he walks to Kobe and says, like, so why were you training so hard uh, for so long? Kobe was like, the reason why I work so hard is to let you know that you won't outwork me. That's his message. Like, I just wanted to show you that I'll work harder than you and still beat you. And I'm like, damn. So
Okay.
certain small stories like that I take from that, and it's like, all right, how can I apply that to my own? How can I apply it to my business? And from there, I developed plans for the business, and I focus on growing. Because I'm not a killer like Kobe was. If you ask me, I'm not a competitive at all. But in a
Help
business
though.
sense, you will need to be competitive to survive in the environment. So I took little nudges from people like that. It's like, I can learn from that. I can learn from that. I can learn from that. And that kind of motivates me to push myself to do things that I'm not comfortable with. Same with doing this podcast. If you asked me a year ago, I was like, oh, I would love to. Oh, but let's go live. I was like, I don't know. Like, I'll be like, I'm not sure. But now it's like, you know what? Let's go. I don't give a crap anymore. Let's go. Because if you
What
don't jump
happened?
into the deep, if you don't jump in the deep, you won't get further. I think the reason
What
why I think
happened?
like that now is because I watched all those people that work like that, how they think like that. It's like, what are you waiting for? Like, you can prepare and plan for so long, but when are you gonna start? By that time, you might miss an opportunity already. So I just decided to go for it. That's the reason why I quit school. That's the reason why I am doing all of these projects, because I just want to see what happens. And I decided to not have the fear of failing control the things that I'm doing. So I just started to do it and see what happens. So that's basically how my mindset is and how I motivate myself. Is like, you just got to do it.
I also find interesting is once you have your mindset on something, and then you will like stick to it and you would do it. But sometimes that is not always the right thing.
True.
For example, if you be like, oh, I need to get stronger, I need to train like do 100 push-ups every day, and you keep doing it, at a certain point your body will be like, hey, this is too much. I'm not sure what you're pointing at, but this is too much. So at a certain point, if you're that, even though it's very clear what you want to be stronger, the way you do it is not always the right way. So that's like, how do you deal with that?
No, that's
For
true.
example, what I did was I woke up very early, like 6 o'clock, for 2 months. It really helped me develop a rhythm. But I had to sacrifice a lot of friendships because I could not meet up with them because they were all up late and I had to sleep early. So I would miss out the opportunity. At a certain point, I'm like, why am I doing this? Because I really missed out on the social events. So now I'm just like trying to balance it out more, but it's like still super hard to do to combine those two.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. You went for it and now you know how to do it better.
Yeah.
So you learn from that. And
Uh,
if you never did that step, you would have never known.
yeah.
You'll just be figuring like, oh, would it happen like this or would it happen like that?
Mm-hmm.
So I
And
think
also,
that's a plus.
well, the moment of decision is also a very interesting one because at a certain point I was like, I miss this part of being social a lot. So at a certain point I was just breaking and just went to the social things and just like talking with friends and make it late, and I was like, okay, this is still like worth it because I don't want to live a life like a robot. I want to live my life like uh, I don't want to miss out on a lot of things in my life because I did that while I was working a lot. When I was younger, around 16, 18, something like that, I was working in a restaurant and it was like all the weekends. And afterwards, I didn't have energy to go out and have fun. So what I learned from it is I can work for money, but if I don't spend it, you will miss out on a big chunk of your life, on a big chunk of your social thing. So our balance in it will be very important. Even though I have more money because of it, I have less life. And I'm not sure if less life is worth the extra money.
Um, I'm the opposite, so I can tell you really. So I used to work in a restaurant as well around that age, and we went out a lot. We had a lot of parties, we drank a lot, and it's all good and fun. But for me, I'm an extreme introvert,
Mhm.
it felt very uncomfortable, like very uncomfortable. And but I still did it because I didn't want to miss out with my friends and all that. And I think half of them I don't speak to anymore anyway. You know, so it's really like you have to see like what are you losing then and what are you gaining from it. It really depends on the situation and how you are and how they are.
Yeah, what I also noticed, what's also a lesson is when you change, also your environment will change. So your friends would also change. So you can also attract different kinds of people, different kinds of friends. So the friends which you've been hanging out with, they could either leave you or change with you. So that's also a very interesting one.
For sure. For me, the reason why I don't talk to them as much is because I moved to a different city. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and later on, I still went out, with my classmates or whatever when I was cool, and I just didn't like it as much. I love the people I was hanging with, but I just didn't like going out and partying and drinking anymore. I felt like, I feel old.
I never really liked that part though. So I was like, okay, I will do it. I will try to talk to girls or something, and it would cost me a lot of energy, and I'll be like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he'd be like, no, come, because yeah, you can talk to strangers and stuff. And I'd be like, yes, I can, but it cost me a lot of energy. I mean, motivation-wise, it was they tried to motivate me by, oh, come and we'll pay for your drinks. I'm like, yeah, I've been drinking a lot of apple juice and I don't drink alcohol, so you can't really drag me with that. And at a certain point, I was just like, I was doing it for them, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing it for you guys, but you guys are not really helping me because I had to do a lot of social work. By that, I meant I had to do a lot of opening to new people and like starting conversation and make a conversation. It plus also if you start conversation with new people, you will also get some rejection because some people will be like, I don't know you. We are here for partying, so I don't really want to talk to you. So then I have to like deal with the rejection and have to get back on my feet again and like continue on. And at a certain point, I will find interesting people which I can hang out with and talk with. And then it's like, okay, that is when it's worth it. But it costs a lot of effort for me. So at a certain point, I wasn't motivated to go anymore.
Yeah, so you basically answered yourself already. Like, you've been working hard and you didn't went out with friends. Later on, you did went out with friends and you didn't like it.
Yeah.
So you have your answer there, like the motivation and the mindset wasn't there. So you didn't lose out on anything.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, yeah, it was fun in the beginning, but eventually you just get bored. It's like you're doing the same thing over again. You go to the same clubs, you hang with the same friends, you have the same music every time, same drinks. It feels like I'm in a loop.
It's like repeating, and it's like you're waiting on the Saturday or the Wednesday, or I'm not sure what the party days are. You're waiting on it, and you're doing the same thing, and you're hoping for something new, but not a lot of things will happen. And especially if you have friends who are very in the comfort zone, and they be like, "Oh yeah, let's go out, let's go to do something else," and you end up in the same club and talking to the same people, and you be like, "Oh no, not this again! Please, something else. I need some." Yeah.
It's true. Honestly, whenever I lose someone, I just go to one of the clubs that I know they'll end up with.
Yeah. Yeah.
5 minutes later, you see them walking to you. It's like, there they are. There we go. So it was so predictable, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going out anymore.
Yeah, it's too predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what I find interesting is some of my other people, which I didn't really hang out with, they were having a lot of interesting parties, and they were also more experimental. But I wasn't always comfortable with it, so I was just like, "Oh, it's very interesting, but I'm not sure how or what." So, in a sense that I wanted to break the pattern, I was still afraid to break the pattern because it's very out of my comfort zone to do something else.
Yeah.
So that's also a very interesting part of it. I
No,
mean,
I feel you.
there are a lot
I
of
have the
people
same thing.
they're going to raves and everything, and
Oh.
yeah, that was like, ooh, it is interesting. It's different. It's totally different than going out to the city and meeting the same people again. But I was like, ooh, this is too much of a change, though. I did went to like house parties where everyone is like crazy and everything. It's like,
From
okay,
drugs, huh?
this is maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. I am not sure. I haven't experienced it yet, so I don't
Oh,
have
I've
a
seen it
reference to it.
plenty. I've been to all different kind of house parties like that, and it's like
Yeah, I really
whatever,
like those parties more because the setting is different, the people are different, and the conversations go in deeper.
It's
Uh,
fun. I like house parties more.
yeah, I also like it more.
And the only drugs that I would have taken was marijuana, because it's like whatever. I just get
Okay.
hungry.
Yeah,
That's the
I have
only thing that
tried
happens
that
to
one
me. I just
yet.
get hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, and also without drinking, without alcohol, it's like also in the city, I don't really like it because I'm not numbed, so I hear and I feel everything. So it's also like, yeah, it doesn't really help with me.
No, I feel you. I'm the same now, basically. I used to drink only because I would numb myself a bit, and gave me a lot of courage as well to keep going. Because I didn't like going out, but I love my friends, and even now, even if they like to go out, that's fine. It's just
I would
I'm
do it
good.
more
I'm
for the
going home.
friends than because going out is fun. Yeah. But what is
Yeah.
interesting is, well, I went to an anime convention and there I don't have to drink, but everyone is like going crazy and just like being themselves without judging. And there I could just like do everything I wanted. I could dance, I could sing, I can just do everything. So that was a very interesting thing. So if I would go out, that would be the way I would go out. Just go to an like a convention because yeah, there are also people who are drinking there, but I can have a lot of fun without alcohol there because I
True.
can be myself. I don't feel judged, and in the city, I feel judged very fast because everyone is
I
like,
see. Oh, it's the sober guy.
yeah, it's a sober guy. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a while since I've been in a way. Going out has been a while, so I'm not sure how I would be feeling now, but I'm not. I don't think there will be a lot of a difference from now.
I
I
don't think
don't
it's gonna
think
be
I would like
possible for a long
it.
time.
What?
I don't think it's gonna be possible for a long time with the COVID thing.
Yeah, for me that part doesn't really matter for me because I'm just like, oh, I don't really miss it. But
Me
for some
neither.
people, it is like their staple. Like I need some release, and yeah, for them it's like it's an important part of their life.
Yeah, for me, it's like even though I'm an introvert, the quarantine basically drained me a little bit because I had no human interaction besides my family,
Yeah,
and
that would drain you.
it
Yeah.
drains you. And then for example, when I go to like your birthday party, for example, it's like refreshing, even
Yeah.
though I don't like hanging at parties at all
Uh-huh.
normally. But at that point, I was like, I'm getting energized because I haven't had contact with anyone else for so long.
Yeah. You needed
I
to get
chat with you,
charged.
I chat with Rick, I guess, and with
Uh-huh.
on stream and all that. But it's different when you hang with someone, when
In
you're
life.
talking face to face.
Uh-huh. Yeah, on stream or on, it's so different because when you're live, you can feel at least I can feel the energy. I can feel how people are and I can feel the emotions more. Plus, it's more of a commitment because if you're on a stream, you'll be like, oh, I'm super tired. We can cut it off, and you'll be like, cut off, and that's it. But if you're live, you need to be like, oh, yeah, how am I gonna do this? And you cannot just like leave. Well, it's possible, but you're not just leaving.
That was me this afternoon. I was so
Okay.
tired. I was like, oh man, I'm so tired. But I was testing the whole setup and all that, so I had to go live, and so I just like, you know what, I'm gonna play some Minecraft. I'm gonna do some chill things. I didn't plan anything out, and I noticed that while I was like talking and playing, it's like, I'm just gonna jump around or something. I don't know. I have nothing to tell you today. I'm tired. I haven't slept much. Whatever. Um, but eventually, it's. I took a nap after that. I was energized after that.
Yeah. Yeah, but so after the party, did you really feel like really tired, or were you more energized because you came to energize a little bit there too?
No, I slept right away.
Oh, you slept right away.
Yeah, I was so tired. I was like, I'm out. I'm done.
Okay, yeah.
It drains me too much.
Mm-hmm. But you
I don't
did
like
need
it.
it though.
The thing is, like, well, it's not that I don't like it, because sometimes I like to dance and do whatever, right?
Mhm.
But I think overall it is not worth it.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
for me, it's like I can put some music on in my room and do the same thing and still be jazzed.
Yeah, but without the same, well, you can do that. But how about the social interaction? Because that's the part you were missing. So how would you
Honestly,
replace that?
when you go out, you don't really get much social interaction because you can barely hear each other.
Mm.
So it's basically staring at each other, dancing a little bit, and drinking. It's basically
Yeah,
going out. Like
I
the
really don't
conversations
like
come
that.
after or before. So
Yeah,
during the whole thing, you barely talk to each other.
I don't like that part. I'm just like I'm waiting till the after party so you can like eat and talk to each other. That's the part I'm waiting for. And during,
I
I'm
just
just
leave before. I was like, okay, we had the pre-part. I'm done. I'm going home.
mm, yeah. I would even thinking about what if I just show up like at the end of the night and just like go out and eat and like chill. And that's what I sometimes did because I was like, I'm going to skip the whole dancing part and just go straight for the food and talking.
But I do like the dancing part. That's the thing. I
Mm,
enjoy dancing or whatever, but it's
yeah,
uh like sometimes you're standing in a club for 4 hours and doing the same thing over and over again.
yeah, it's a loop.
I
Yeah.
mean, for 1-2 hours, fine, but
Uh-huh. I
when you
mean,
leave 4 in
also,
the morning, you did all that, and then you're gonna hang out and eat still, and then go home and try to sleep. It
what is
depends really if you can sleep.
hmm
Hmm?
What is interesting though is most of the time there was a super cute girl or something, or for a girl it's a super cute guy. I don't know. Um, but that would be your motivation because you would like, oh, I need to impress her or something, and you would like stay there. And when she leaves, it'd be like, I have no reason anymore to be here, and you'd be like, oh, what the hell am I doing here? So you're trying to find some interesting people to hang out with.
Oh, for me, it's not even that. For me, it's just like, I don't want to look like a weirdo in front of my friends.
Still want to look like a weirdo?
Yeah, I don't. I wasn't even focused on like a cute girl in a room or whatever. Like,
Uh-huh.
I just want to hang with my friends, really.
Oh, that's also a very interesting thing with motivation-wise, because I had a lot of, yeah, I'm not sure if you would call it friends. They would be like, oh, yeah, you need to go to that girl and talk to the girl. And if you did and you'd be rejected, they'd be like, oh, yeah, instead of motivating you, like, oh, you can do it better. It's like, you got rejected and everything. It's like, oh, you're making it super hard for me to do it again.
That doesn't
Yeah.
sound like friends.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like I'm not sure if it's a friend. So yeah,
Like, as a friend, I will be saying, "Oh, you got rejected, man. Don't worry about it. There's plenty of fish in the water, something like
yeah.
that." I wouldn't be like, "Ah, you got rejected." No,
Uh-huh.
that's not being a friend. That's being a
Yeah,
dick.
it is like trying to be. It's also a little bit like energy vampires because what they do is that they feed off your failures, and then, um, well, that can be okay-ish for them. But what I also notice is that they do not dare to do it themselves anymore because they're also afraid you're gonna react like that. because you'll be like teasing each other. So it is a bit social, so it's a bit funny, but it's really not motivating each other.
No, it's the opposite. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, let's see. We're gonna send this guy out. Let's see what happens. Okay, we don't have a chance.
Yeah. Basically, that's it indeed.
Oh, she's talking to him. Let's join in. Maybe we have a chance. So it's a very insecure thing to do.
That's what happened a lot with me. So I was the one who was the social one. So I went out and talked to strange people, and when they talk to me, then they would dare to go and talk, and we like, you kidding me? Stop doing this, man. So at a
For
certain
me,
point, I stopped hanging out with them.
yeah, that makes sense. Because for me, it's like, hey, man, that girl's interested in him. Good luck. I'll just be standing over there and just like standing on the side and be like, good luck. Because like, I don't want to interfere with someone who is, trying their best to talk to someone. Because I know how hard it is, and if someone has success, that's good.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. It was a bit too late for me to notice which friends are motivating me and which ones are not. So it took me a long time to figure out what are the intentions of people. So I was like very sad to know it, because going out could be a lot more fun if I was with the right people. So I was like, damn, I should have um, searched for the right people and not just like hang out with the same people because it's my comfort zone.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, it's interesting though, because like a motivation to hang out with your friends and motivation to doing business or whatever. Like everything has a different mindset to it. When you do a business, for example, you can be like cold heart and whatever. If you hang out with your friends, that's a whole different mind. It's like a mind space that you're in. You're like, let's relax, let's have some fun. But if you see something toxic like this happening in your friend group, it's different than when you're having the same thing at your business. When someone's being toxic, it's like whatever, you just move on to the next customer or whatever. With your friends is a little bit different, because you can't just say like, oh, got next friend. I always find it interesting.
That is interesting because now I'm looking back at it. I would also do that the same with the friends, because if they don't treat me right, like in a business, I would also be like, hey, this is not good. So I would communicate with them. But if they would not listen, then I would be like, maybe this friendship doesn't really work in a good way. I would not be motivated to keep this friendship on.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a very interesting one.
Yeah, because you have like a lot of things that are in common, but also a lot of things that are not in common, and it's just like how you think and how you see each other. Because if it's your friends, it's a bit harder to say, "Oh, let's not be friends anymore." Then it's more black and white than that.
It's also very confrontable. You have to confront them with it, and that is a part which is very hard because it's out of your comfort zone, but you get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
So if it happens, it would be a good investment to just say the truth, to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Because maybe the friends, they have a good intention, but they did not realize it from themselves. So you could also improve your friendship with it.
That's
So
what I feel.
there also is like it's about the mindset. If you think about it positively, it can really help your friendship out. It can carry it to the next level.
Yeah. And I understand as well. They say, oh, it's like don't do business with your friends, or don't do business with your family. But thing is, like, it really depends on how you communicate with each other.
With the family, it's also a little bit difficult. With friends, you can just like I'm not sure how you say it, but you can, if you don't talk to each other a lot, and then the connection will be fading away. But with family, though, it's like harder to let it fade away. It's also possible because some friends of mine, they have they don't really talk to family anymore. So I'm just like, oh, that's also a possibility because
Yeah.
well, you cannot erase them, but you can like
Keep distance.
keep distance indeed. Yeah, that is
Yeah. That's
very
why like I don't really agree with that statement when saying like don't do business with your friends or family, because sometimes that person knows you even better than
Mhm.
yourself sometimes, and you can learn and grow from each other.
Yeah. Well, doing business with friends, they say it can break your friendship. Then I would say maybe that friendship wasn't good to begin with.
Yeah.
It might be very cruel, but that could be the case.
I have something that happened before. Um, I had a business partner who was basically my best friend. We
Mhm.
did everything together, and when our business failed, he stopped talking to me suddenly. And even till this day, I haven't talked to him, and it was really weird. But for example, now I'm doing business with Drake, and I do it with you.
Mhm.
We don't have that problem. We still hanging out. Like, when we talk about business, it's talk about business. When we're chilling, it's chilling.
Yeah.
And we can separate that. And the thing is, like, if you know how to separate that, then you can do whatever, with anyone.
Yeah.
So it's really like how you communicate to each other as well. It's just not just be like, friends or no friends or whatever. No, it's just like sometimes you just have to be black on white. Okay, here's we're gonna talk about business, and this part is our friendship. So even if during business I hate you on certain points, or I'm not agreeing with you on certain points, doesn't mean that I'm not your friend anymore.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
that's true. Yeah.
Uh,
Also, with the coaching, sometimes I can be very confrontal. So people will be like, I did not expect this from you to say this, and it doesn't feel nice, but it has to be said because of the professional setting. So that's also, yeah,
no, I agree.
very
I had
interesting.
it before too. We were at it was before my previous. We had to basically create our own company. So we created our own company. Everybody had a role, and one girl of the group was a bit slacking. And for us, it felt really tough to tell her, like, listen, um, we're friends with classmates or whatever, but in this position and in this time, uh, we are colleagues. And from a colleague standpoint, you're lacking.
Yeah.
And if you don't improve yourself, we have to fire you from this company thing. And um, for me, it was really hard to bring that message. And the guy who was leading the group had a hard time saying the message. But when we put that on a table like that, she understood. She was like, I get it. It doesn't mean I don't. We started with, it doesn't mean that we don't like you. It's just like you're not putting enough effort into this project.
Yeah.
So we want you to focus on this project and get better, or else we have to kick you out of the group.
Yeah.
And then you have to, redo the whole project with someone else. And that's kind of where I learned from. Okay, sometimes you have to be, big boy pants and talk a bit, be a bit tougher,
Yeah.
even though it is your friend. You
Mm.
know, and afterwards we're chilling, doesn't matter, we don't talk about it, because that's the business setting and this is a friendship setting. And so I learned it when I was younger, but when with the business partner, a friend, that was different, because I feel like we were both not ready to start a business. We had the skills, we had the knowledge, we had a resume, and we basically had a network, so we could roll out and get customers. But because of the mindset and the motivation, was for both parties different. For me, it was different, and for him was different, which makes it really hard to get a company working, because for him was like, I have a full-time job, I have a wife, I got this and that. For me, it's like, at that point I was a student, I don't have a full-time job. I want to focus 100% in this company.
Yeah.
Well, he's like maybe 10, 20%. So that clashed, and we never had a real conversation about it. And then we just decide, okay, maybe I should leave, and he will do it on his own, and I'll just start something else. That was like basically the idea. And I left, and 2 years later, that company, I don't know if it still exists. The website still exists, but I got my own company now with friends that I trust. I don't know how he's doing now. I know he has a kid and a wife and everything, but I just noticed sometimes um, when there's a business setting, you have to be hard on yourself and you have to be real with yourself. And I don't. I know that I can eventually save this friendship, or rekindle. But that business part is like that's gone. Just learn from it and continue with something else. And that's kind of the mindset that I have as well. It's like just learn from every mistake that you make, and do it better. And so be black and white to your partners and say like, I want to be 100% in this project. Are you in with me or not? If you're not, then maybe we shouldn't do this together. Stuff like that. And I just learned that slowly but surely. So that's why now, like, the group that I had in mind was like, what, 10 people? I think we have like 2-3 people now as a group, you know. So it's different, but you adjust, you learn, and you grow. And I think that's also a thing with motivation and mindset. It's like it really depends on what you put your mind on.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's
Super.
basically it.
Yeah. Even though, yeah, it's also the black and white. It's like it's so hard because sometimes you have very capable friends doesn't have to, who don't need to be 100% on the case, but because they are very professional about it, they can still like fix a lot of things without being 100% on it. So it's like always difficult to ask someone, can you be 100% in it? Some people cannot, but they have skills. You're like,
No,
oh,
but
it's
what I'm saying is like really like running a business. I'm not saying like hiring them for a certain job in the business. I'm talking about running the whole company.
oh
That's
yeah,
different than asking a friend, "Hey, you're really good in design. Can you help me with this design?"
hmm
Because then they will need the 100%
yeah,
to put the effort in to create a good project or a good product.
Mm.
What I was talking about is more like really running a company.
Mm.
What I also learned is do it yourself first, so you
yeah,
can show it to others like, this is what my goal is, this is what I want.
uh,
So that's like, the small things that I learned, and that's why I haven't shown you, for example, anything yet. Because I'm still working on it, I'm still creating it.
yeah,
That's why I'm not asking you like, hey, do you want to join the company now? No, I'm just gonna do what I need to do, and then I'm gonna approach anyone who's interested enough
uh,
to help me run a company or do a project with me. It
yeah.
really depends on what I need as well.
Yeah, I'm also just like doing my own thing, see how it works, and then when it's really something solid, then I'll be like, okay, this is what I have. Or else I'll be like making promotion for something which might not really work. I'm like losing trust with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, trust is a thing as well. It's like I learned in business, don't trust anyone until you put it on paper,
Uh, yeah.
and you just learn. And sure, I had some customers that were not uh, they weren't really interested, but they just let you make stuff, and then they just gonna take stuff from you and not pay. Shit like that happened, and you just learn from it. And uh, as well as like all the other projects that failed for me, it's like I don't see them as a failure.
Yeah.
I just see it like as a learning and stepping point. It's like, okay, next time I'm gonna put a contract in front of the face and then talk nice.
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
It
Those
is
are
what it is, and you just learn. So I work with the people that I trust, and if I am not sure about someone, I rather just not work with them.
yeah. That's better, or else it would be wasting your time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Time, energy, everything.
I would not be motivated then.
Hmm?
I would not be motivated then.
Not motivated?
Yeah, because you're not 100% in it then. If there's no trust, then I would not be 100% in it. So
Yeah,
I would not be completely motivated to do it then.
exactly.
Yeah.
As for me as well, I feed off other people who are motivated. If I see someone who's really motivated and passionate about something, I just kind of want to help them, and I'll start getting motivated for them.
Yeah. So
So
that's
that's also an interesting thing.
very interesting because when I invite people to my place, I have like a steel cage to hang. So I'm trying to let everyone hang there, and everyone be like, I'm not sure, and I would like show them and like showing the scores, and I'll be like, all right, I will do it. So even though if it's just a few seconds or a few minutes, it's like everyone's like, oh, okay, that's very interesting. So everyone will be like, because I'm that motivated to do it. So everyone will be
I
like,
wasn't motivated and my arms were sore.
we just still did it.
I did,
Yeah.
but I don't think I was in the right mindset to do it because I didn't care. So I just let go when I was like, okay, it's hurt a little bit. I let go.
You still did it though.
Yeah, but I know if I'm more serious, I don't think I'll just hang for 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah. It's already been 1 hour, I guess.
Yes,
So,
almost
oh
52
wow,
minutes.
52 minutes. Yeah. So for now, it's like the reason why I'm sticking to 1 hour is because I would really like to keep it compact. In a way, like for the listeners, I've got a feeling like if it's too long, you have to like search in where is the juicy part, and if it
Juicy.
yeah, and if could put it in 1 hour, it's just like less searching. So
I feel so too. For me, as
that's
well,
how
when I
I.
listen to podcasts, it's like 1.5 is max for me. The
Mm,
reason why it's 1.5 is like after that, I can clear my mind and digest what happened.
mm.
If it's like a 3-hour podcast, I'll be like, wait, what? What did they
Yeah.
say in the beginning?
Uh-huh. Yeah. In terms of motivation to listen, because I'm also listening to Kim Monaghan podcast, for example, or other podcasts, and most of the time they're like sometimes they're very short, but most of the time like around 1 hour or half an hour to 1 hour, and then it's still like okay, there's still some juiciness out of this. And if it would be like 2 hours, I'd be like, ooh, because I don't want to listen in parts.
Right.
If there are parts, I'm just like, if I listen one part this day and another part like some days afterwards, yeah, I will forget what I have heard the first part. So then it's not really connected anymore, for me at least. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
agree.
how I see it.
Yeah, I don't know. For me as well, it's like I cannot listen too long, or I just like start doing other things and just have it on the background. But that's fine too, Like if you want us on the background, please have us on the background.
Yeah, listen to some interesting conversations and be, maybe it could change your way of thinking too. So that's
Maybe,
interesting.
and we want to continue doing this format, at the 1 hour thing. Um, I don't know. It depends if we have guests. We could maybe extend it a little bit. But it's more just to introduce the guest and learn from the guest as well, I think, because then you have 3 voices. But that's like probably the max that I'm going for, like 1.5. That's why I said to Shumie as well, like half hour is a bit too short. Maybe like 1 hour to 1.5. If we finish in 45 minutes, it's fine. If we finish in 1 hour and 20 seconds, it's fine. It's like we don't have to be oh, we have to get this mark. No, just talk and have fun. Because
Yeah.
I can talk about motivation and mindset forever, really.
Yeah, that's true.
This is just one story that I had, and I can tell you like 20 more if I want, but it doesn't change my opinion and my mindset on certain things. It's just more examples.
Yeah,
That's it.
I was listening though, so that's also fun on YouTube. So I shared it with her. So it's like, oh.
Awesome.
So if you go to YouTube, you can also see the comments in it.
Yeah, I see. Because the thing is, like, I got 3 screens.
So many screens.
So I just decided to focus on you.
Yeah, indeed. If you focus on too much, you'll be like distracted and everything.
So that's also something that we can figure out. Maybe you can focus on the YouTube. I can focus on the Twitch chat.
Yeah, I'm just.
Oh, the thing is, like, if someone chats to us on Twitch, it will show up in the screen,
Oh, it will.
and I think it will also show up on YouTube as well, but vice versa not. So I have to figure that out how that works.
Oh yeah, I do see it. Oh, cool. I didn't see that yet, but nice.
I'm improving. Like before, it was just like image, make it big, done.
Yeah.
Now we have screens. Now I have to like look at 3 screens, and I hear myself at an echo. It's really annoying, but I just put my headphones off and put it on loud so I can hear you still.
Yeah.
That's how I'm doing it now. So I'm learning. I'm adjusting. It's fun.
Yeah. It is indeed like practicing, trying, just doing it. It is a process. It is the way to learn. I mean, you can study about this, but if you don't execute it, it's like you can't really learn a lot from it.
Because we have been planning this podcast for so long.
Yeah, way too long.
And I'm like, Shumie, when are we gonna start?
Yeah,
Shumie, when are we gonna
like
start?
I'm still not sure, man.
When are we gonna start?
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, that's why I just want to do projects. I just lately I'm just say like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna do it. Like if I make a fool out of myself, whatever. That's why
Yeah.
you always see technical difficulties. But the thing's like it's not always on my part. When me and Rick stream, he's the one taking care of everything, and there's always something going wrong as well. So
Yeah,
it's
he
very
has
normal.
experience.
Also, my Wi-Fi sucks.
Oh, yeah. It's what do we need for it? We need more money.
Please
Yeah.
don't. I need better Wi-Fi.
Donate. Yeah.
It's just fun, man.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, follow, do all the things on all the platforms because we're on 2 platforms now. And yeah.
It's super
Bye.
awesome. Thank you and see you guys later. Bye.